I love you. Y'all can have a seat. How many times have we said to somebody, I love you? I love you. I love you. But do we ever think about what real love is? That's a word that we have slung and slanged and however you want to put it around. I don't know how many times and how many ways. But the word love has a meaning to it. And it's just not a word. It's an action word. Y'all know I always say I'm a teacher, so I hang to some verbs. I can skip all over the prepositions and all that other stuff, but some verbs, it means to do something. So today I want to talk to you about unconditional love. And I don't know if let me just say this, we don't have unconditional love. We don't. We really don't. And you may say, well, you don't know. No, I don't know. Well, let me tell you something. It does not take but 2 times for you to lose your unconditional love for me. And so for some of us, ain't big, it doesn't take but 1. Exactly. The scripture says in Romans 5 and 8, but God commendeth his love toward us, in that while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. Now that's your definition right there of unconditional love. In other words, before you even got here, God demonstrated his love through his son Jesus to cover up your you're not even here. You're talking about some love to go ahead of you and think that, oh, yeah, she'll come in 1958, so I need to go on to this cross right now. Because he already knew. You're talking about some love to go to the courthouse and serve a sentence for somebody that you don't even know. Think about it. Think about going out to the courthouse in the morning and tell the judge, I'm just going to go to jail for somebody that's going to come along 5 months from that. Think about it. I'm just going to go on down here to the jailhouse and pay this fine for somebody who's going to speed next year. That's unconditional. Without boundaries, without limits, without control. It says that God demonstrated this kind of love. So when we leave here today, I want us to not take that word love so lightly and throw it out so freely. Because when you tell somebody you love them, it's supposed to be unconditional. And you don't just say it. People will know when you love them because you show it. If God had not sent his son Jesus to the cross, would you be believing all of this right now? You wouldn't. Let me just say I wouldn't, okay? Love is an intense feeling of affection. It's an interest, it's a pleasure in something you enjoy, something you take delight in. And God took delight in us when he sent his son Jesus to the cross for us. God is love, and he's a loving creature. He's a loving creator. And if we don't know how to love, all we have to do is just look at God. And we'll say, Lord, make us like you. You don't really want that. You don't really want that. Because our nature says that when somebody do us wrong, some of us may let you by first time, Chris. Now, you just not going to keep coming after me, Mama. I'm not going to turn my other cheek. I'm finna raise my other hand. Come on now, we real. We talking about unconditional love. I ain't going to keep turning my cheek. I'm finna raise my hand and your cheek going to turn. We're talking about unconditional love. What if God treated us the way we treated him? I wouldn't be here. Unconditional love is forgiving beyond measures. Do you know how many times I've sinned this week? And you have too. Do you know how many times I've sinned this week? And God allowed me and forgave me anyhow? Unconditional love. But you ain't gonna do me that way too many times. There's no past trouble that's too much. There's nobody that has done so much wrong that God cannot redeem you. He is our Redeemer, y'all. And there's nothing. I'm going to talk about myself. I ain't going to talk. Let it reminisce in your mind all the best you done. Baby, I done said some stuff. I probably said more than I did have. Yeah. That wasn't one of my things, doing stuff to people. But, baby, I done said something that I could have burnt your feelings down. But God is so amazing. He's so forgiving that he has forgiven me. And I tell people all the time, you want to remember how I used to be? That's you and God's problem, not my problem, because God has redeemed me. He already took that mess that he knew I was going to do to the cross. And if it comes down off the cross, who had to go get it? You went and got it. It's out on the cross. You think I'm lying? Let's just look at some stuff in the Bible. In the book of Exodus, the 2nd chapter, 11 through 15, he took a murderer named Moses. Moses was walking around making sure wasn't nobody looking so he could kill somebody. He took a murderer like Moses and made him a what? A prophet. Now, God forgave him. Unconditional love. Genesis 27, he took a liar and a conniving cheater like Jacob, turned him into a prince. How you gonna tell me what God can't do with me? God can change me. I don't care what you may have known me back then. Look at me now. You didn't do it. God did it. Jacob was a cheater. Stole his brother's birthrights. But God made him a what? Prince. In the book of Joshua, Rahab. She was a prostitute. And you got the audacity to talk about her. You know her as a prostitute. But do you know she was favored by God? God saw something in this woman. He saw a woman that honored his word. Yes, she was a hooker, as we call her. But look at God. Look at God. We have all prostituted. We have all sold things that were not ours. We have